A group of US senators have been voicing support for Israel on a visit to Tel Aviv as the war on Gaza continues. The Republican Senator Lindsey Graham had this message for Iran.
We're here today to tell Iran we're watching you. If this war grows, it's coming to your backyard. There won't be two fronts, there'll be three. If there's an effort to unleash Hezbollah on the Jewish state to destroy it, my attention will be to Tehran. If these innocent hostages get slaughtered, I hold you, Iran, accountable because you could stop it if you chose to.
What do they tell us about the ideological background for the position of some of these congressmen?
Well, I mean, I think it's always important to remember that the Israeli lobby pours millions of dollars into the American political system in order that there is total support for the occupation, for the siege on Gaza, for the routine Israeli violence, but also there's this constant stream of threats against Iran. So, I mean, to be honest, you know, you could have had Lindsey Graham saying that at any point in the week, even if October the 7th had never happened. Although, interestingly, Lindsey Graham does give us an opportunity to look at a particular strain of support towards Israel. I mean, there's a lot of evidence to suggest that even without enormous support from the Israeli lobbies, he would be saying this sort of thing anyway, because he is someone who believes in a strain of Christian Zionism, evangelical Zionism, that believes that any uptick in violence is a precursor to the second coming of Jesus Christ, the rapture, and that then Jesus Christ returns to earth and sends all the Jews to hell unless they convert. He is someone who believes in a strain of Christian Zionism, evangelical Zionism, that believes that any uptick in violence is a precursor to the second coming of Jesus Christ, the rapture, and that then Jesus Christ returns to earth and sends all the Jews to hell, unless they convert. It's always a very interesting alliance, frankly, between Christian evangelicals and extreme and the Zionist lobby here in the United States. But, you know, a big chunk of Congress, the Republican Party, you hear this on Fox News all the time, believes in this, and so do Christian evangelicals around the country who are expressing their support for Israel. Just one thing, actually, Sana, I was just hearing your conversation with Mohammed Jamjoom. In the last few seconds, we just got a readout of the call between Joe Biden and Benjamin Netanyahu. And on that issue of aid you were talking about, I mean, everything is pretty routine in this readout, but it does say the leaders affirmed that there will now be continued flow of the critical assistance into Gaza. So apparently some sort of rhetorical commitment from Netanyahu that there will be a flow of aid into Gaza. Interesting. It's not only aid that's going in, military hardware, additional military hardware from the US heading to the region. What do we know about what that's being sent for? This seems to be being presented by Antony Blinken on the Sunday shows as more protection for US forces in the region. We'd already known that the Dwight D. Eisenhower carrier strike group was heading to the Eastern Mediterranean to join the Gerald Ford strike group that was there. This is all basically supporting each other. The U.S. presents this as de-escalating tensions. I know there's a huge debate that we often hear about whether this in itself is what's escalating tensions and making, you know, second and third fronts, as Lindsey Graham was talking about, even more likely. And then we're also seeing more Patriot missile batteries, THAAD missile defense systems moving into the region, ostensibly to protect U.S. forces in the region, not Israel, it would appear, and then thousands more troops on standby. But there really is that fear of what Lindsey Graham was apparently boasting about off a second or third front. There was reporting last week that the Biden administration had, they hope, successfully dissuaded Benjamin Netanyahu from a second front with Lebanon. Real fear of Hezbollah's capabilities, particularly to U.S. assets in the region, particularly with the uptick of attacks on U.S. interests in the region. You sometimes wonder what the Biden administration is more frightened of, whether it's Hezbollah, who simply keeps saying, look, we're just keeping pace with Israeli escalation, or whether it's the Israeli escalation, which will be more risky for U.S. assets.
Just comments by the Republican Senator Lindsey Graham in Tel Aviv. This is a man who has made very clear in the past that he is in favor of Israel striking Iran. In April of last year, in 2022, he said that sanctions alone won't stop Iran. Israel may need to strike Tehran. He was referring to, at that time, the ongoing debate about Iran's nuclear program and the increasing sanctions that were being placed on Tehran as a result of its nuclear activities. So this rhetoric coming out of Tel Aviv with the senator is not new. Now, what we have heard from the Iranian foreign minister, Hossein Amir-Abdollahian, earlier on Sunday, is that the situation in the region is like a powder keg. I think those words are very important. He says at any moment things could spiral out of control. Things are very, very crucial, at a crucial point right now. He said the result of things getting out of control could be severe, bitter, and have far-reaching repercussions, both regionally and for those advocating for war. This is the same kind of language we've been hearing not only from the foreign minister, but also from the Iranian president, Ebrahim Raisi, as well as the supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, who ultimately has the final say when it comes to the country's security structures and how it moves forward with its foreign policy. So the point of view from Tehran at this point is that things are very, very critical right now. And if the situation continues in Gaza, things could very well spiral out of control.